Good bass on that.
All right.
Let me know when you're live.
All right. Give it a couple of minutes here. Or a couple of seconds. All right, there. Give it a couple of minutes here because Wire's playing his intro. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. You should hear it on the screen there. All right. Sorry about the moment of silence, folks. We cannot hear a Wire's intro music on his channel there. All right.
Let's see.
All right.
My intro is the old Simon and Garfunkel song. Sounds of Silence. Not really.
I can't hear you, Art.
Ladies and gentlemen. Memory.
Art with Arknolia and the Doctor, YR and Keith. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Ark, you there, dude? Couldn't hear you in the background there.
Yeah.
I can hear you, but your
Wait,
voice is kind of...
how's
There
that?
you are. There you are. A lot better, dude.
I had my mic up above my head. That's kind of makes
okay.
it, you know.
Okay,
I don't talk
see
out of the top
there,
of my
yeah.
head, so.
I see there. I get it now, yeah. So what's up?
What's up, dudes?
We're good here, you know. Okay. We're tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about our long list of favorite bass players in rock and roll, jazz, you name it, soul, who there. It doesn't matter there because there's a lot of it because a lot of times the bass players don't really get that much recognition as the singers and the guitar players often do.
Yeah, that's a shame because they're the bass. They and the drummer are the bass for the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. They're the basic. They're the ones who provide the rhythm for the guitar player and the singer. There, needless to say, there, and also you got to keep in mind that, you know, there are bass players out there that really have stepped up, other than the average bass player. When you think about it, there, I already have a list of some who have done just that there, and some who are definitely considerable in that top-notch spot there. And plus, we also have lots of things to talk about. Well, first of all, I did send YR a couple of news items here many days back there. Of course, retaining one of them be about, of course, K.K. Downing, the drama queen of heavy metal himself there. Because it just seems like every time we turn around, he's always bragging about something here and there. And plus, you know, did you get those items, Wire, that I sent you a while ago?
What was it?
Well, one of them was about, I think, let me look on here, blah, blah, blah. Let me go back. Yeah, let me look on here. It was about a couple of days.
Oh.
I think it was, yeah, I did, yeah.
The comic books. Screen for Visions comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even, I mean, we should really cover the main news, you know, the Taylor Hawkins thing. Did we mention that yet?
Yeah, well, not yet. I don't think it did there. Of course, we all know that.
And then
Taylor
I got on I called Eddie Trunk yesterday. I was on the show.
Yeah, I heard that, man. Congratulations. That's cool, man, that you did that, man.
Fine. Yeah. Like, you know, I tried a couple other times and didn't get through, but eventually you get through, and he's really cool, and, you know, like millions watch that show. You know, it's a major.
Did
best
you plug
friends
this one?
freely.
I'm kidding.
No, you should, man. You should, man. You know, we could get new subscribers to our channels here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting on radio and I guess satellite radio. Like, you're not technically live because if someone came on there and said a bunch of nasty stuff, they would bleep it out. So like, they kind of know.
That's true. Yeah. They do have their censored moments here. You can't go ape shit like you do on YouTube here now and then.
Like any political shit, like no one really, you know, cares for that on his show. Like, I mean, no one really. Sometimes someone might make a comment, but it's not real. It's all music. You know what I'm saying? So finally got on, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. There,
they did add a new. They did add an extra song to their set. I mean, they got like maybe 3 or 4 shows left, but they added Green Manalishi.
Of course, the Peter Green cover there, which that's always been a Priest live staple when you think
Yeah.
about it there.
But it's
Along
interesting.
with,
It tells me like it was 14 songs on the regular set list, and then the encore
yeah,
had Electric Eye, and then the 3 or 4 radio hits, the big radio songs. And this other one, they added the one song. So that tells me, you know, Rob's confident that, they can add an extra song in the set list.
yeah, that's good there. Yeah.
And they're already working on, they got the drums down on the new album. They're
All
coming out
right.
with this album. And they said they already got the drums recorded down. And then I saw another comment that KK Downing said he was the first to bring the Flying V guitar into heavy metal.
I know. I was right. I was looking at that as well. That I think. Oh well. Yeah. I think if
He
I
is
remember,
right,
there-
because like
yeah, that's
Hendrix
true.
had the Flying V, but it was a heavy metal, so he's the one who
well,
kind of made it a heavy metal
that is
state.
true there. And plus, I think Dave Davies of the Kings had a Flying V on one TV performance. I remember looking on Google Images of.
Right.
But that wasn't really heavy metal either. But KK with the pioneers of the Flying V guitar next to UFO's Michael Schenker, and of course his brother
Yes.
Rudolph from the Scorpions there, considered the pioneers of the Flying V guitar there.
But let's get into the list, but what did you have to think about the Taylor Hawkins thing, guys? I was listening to Eddie Trunk's show, like everyone, he was real personable, he was real nice to everyone, like, he was like, a lot of people were saying, like, he was like a regular guy, like, people saw him standing next to him in concerts and doing concerts, like, he was a fan, too.
Yeah, he was. I remember in my vlog of paying homage to him, Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin did show up at a Foo Fighters performance in a Wembley Stadium over in the UK, and they did a rendition of Rock and Roll, the Zeppelin staple there, and of course Hawkins was the one singing.
See, like I was never super into them, but Foo Fighters definitely have a huge following and everything because they do cool stuff. Like there's tons of video online where they'll let like a fan come up and play the guitar, play the drums,
or the drums, yeah.
And like that's pretty cool. They're really interactive with the fan base.
And, in fact, I mentioned this gal, Rocker Girl, on our drummer special a couple weeks back. Actually a couple days back, and there was a kind of like a drum duet jamming out with Dave Grohl on the song "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
If you think about it, like the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl are really the flag bearers for like the new, this newer. I don't want to say
new
rock, but I guess this newer. Like they're really always on the award shows, and like everyone knows who the Foo Fighters are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, when you think about, it's kind of when you think about it, in long terms of longevity, the Foo Fighters lasted way longer than Nirvana did,
right,
when you look at it there. But yet people still look to Nirvana as the pioneers of the alternative grunge rock sound in the early 90s there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got a long list of bass players today,
Yeah, well, I have a long list myself there. There was a couple I think I should also mention as well there. And we probably should add this one to the list right now. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, there. I got this one right now. And before we start, I got to bring up something here about what happened last night and actually what happened last Saturday at the Oscars. Did you hear about that, Wire? Damn. Everybody knows about it.
On Chris Rock's side on that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, geez. I saw this article that says the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science told Will Smith that they asked him to leave the ceremony after slapping Chris Rock, but he refused. Probably just as well because he would later win an award for his role in the movie King Richard, which was about Richard Williams, the tennis player who's also the father of Serena and Venus Williams there, when you think about it. And during his acceptance speech, he was shedding some tears there because he knew what he had just done. He was now feeling the guilt for it. And he did say he apologized to the Academy and all the attendees and also the people watching around the world. And a couple of days ago, I read that the Academy was now investigating the incident, and a lot of Hollywood stars have called this one of the ugliest moments in Oscar history. One of them, of course, being Jim Carrey. He said the whole thing just sickened him all to hell. Now, the only one that I know that's defending Will Smith, of course, is his son, Jaden, who is also a piece of work when you look at it. I mean, the guy's having issues with it. Reportedly, the guy's questioning his own gender.
What?
Yeah, well, he's one of those kids. He's one of those kids that are right now questioning his own gender, and of course his mom and dad probably accepted being woke as they are. And let's not forget, Jada confessed that she had been with other men behind Will's back. And I guess
we have to let's get into the base. Let's get into the base.
Okay,
let's get. We are getting political
too
right
much.
now.
Okay, I don't want to get political, but still, Will Smith is. Let's just say that Chris Rock and Will Smith may not be invited to the same party. Let's put it that way.
Are you excited? Real quick, are you excited for WrestleMania this weekend?
I'm not paying attention to WrestleMania. Well, WrestleMania back
the Hall
then.
of Fame tomorrow with Taker.
That's good. Yeah, it's good that he finally got his due. Exactly. It's good that he finally got his long-term respect because he's been with that company since 1990. So how many decades? About 4 or 3, I think it was. All right.
Are you dragging your mic across the table?
I'm fixing the mic arm. Sorry.
Oh, okay, there. Yeah. I should probably get me something like that, but knowing how I like to move around.
It's like the mic arm you had, like the table I have. It's kind of thin. It's like a card table, fold-out table. So like I had to put this like piece of wood underneath the mic. Like it's hard, because you have to have like a solid. The mic arm can stay on, cling on. But
who's starting this?
I know. You want to start, Ark?
Ark, YR, and Brown.
Gotcha. Sounds good there.
My first one, I'll take him before anyone else does. John Entwistle.
Yeah, from the Who. The Ox.
The guy not only was a talented bass player, he was a good songwriter and could sing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he released a couple solo albums. I remember the last one being Too Late to Hero from, I guess, 1983. I remember hearing the title track on the old MTV back in the day there.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the other two. But
I think the other one was Mad Dog, and the other was Smash Your Head Against the Wall.
Yeah, I do remember the song. Apparently, I don't remember it. I can't even think of the title. My Size.
My Size. Was that a Who composition or his?
It was his.
Okay, there.
One of his. Go ahead.
Well, his the ones he did with the Who was the Quiet One. I think it was 405 from Who Are You, and I think there was another one
which Spider.
Oh yeah, that's right. You took the words out of my mouth. He did that. He did that very line there. Boris the Spider. That was definitely him doing that.
Oh yeah, he was the singer on that song, and another one that he did solo, but they played live at Leeds was Heaven and Hell.
Oh, I see. All right.
Which is a great little song.
All right, got to check that out sometime there.
Guy had some talent.
Hopefully you don't take my first two because they're pretty much my faves and my earliest memory of, I guess, a bass player or whatever. And this person, Brown, great on the backing vocals, classic bass player from the number one greatest rock and roll band in the world, Michael Anthony, Van Halen.
Oh, yeah.
Great on the bass, obviously, with the whole...
backup vocals.
What, the Jack Daniels bottle, was it?
Oh, yeah. That was one of his iconic bass because he used to drink that like the pound there.
That's what I'm saying. And then the backing vocals was your very, very famous classic Van Halen.
Like Beautiful Girls, You're No Good, Jamie's Crying.
Now, a lot of people argue, like, who else was doing the backing vocals with him? Was it Was it Eddie or was it Alex?
It was definitely Michael.
No, it was Michael, but like, was anyone else doing it with him? Because Eddie did it sometimes. You could see like they're in the same mic together, harmonizing type thing. Which tells you a lot. Like Eddie, we're talking about bass players, but Eddie can sing somewhat like that, and then the keyboard, and then guitar and everything. So, but with the Michael Anthony thing, he's still till this day doing his thing. He's playing bass live, all that stuff, and his videos out that they're doing "Running with the Devil" in their set list, and he's actually singing it.
All right.
And when he does the the start of "Running with the Devil," he flips his bass, reverses it, and like plays that off his teeth. He plays that one string.
That's cool there. Yeah.
I mean, this is 2020. This is probably like a couple months ago or something because they're doing this Vegas residency. But I mean, he sounds great and fun time. Means it's a party band, party songs, and
I
mean, he's a party guy and. Michael Anthony, ladies and gentlemen. Can't really argue that, I mean, you can get into... There's more technical bass players, I guess, or whatever. I mean, I'm going to mention... I'll send you what Nikki Nines told me. I never heard of these guys, but maybe y'all did, but...
All right, what's up, there? Send me a note. Definitely, we'll let the check them out there. And I got to say this,
Either that or wait on his list till the end, and if we didn't name somebody on the list... mention those people and then say he also said.
Well, listen, I'm going to put it in there right now, and y'all tell me if y'all ever heard of these. A couple guys.
All right there. And let me say this, if I was Eddie before I would die, I would at least reach out to Michael and make amends with him because he got screwed bad when the Van Halen got back together in 2007. They then brought him back. He had to sign his rights to the name for a certain amount of money there, and I guess he got screwed bad. He really got screwed.
Yeah, because like in the 2000s, it was still. I mean, they had that one tour with the one tour when they had where it was really bad though. They were saying like Eddie wasn't on his game, like he was drinking and stuff. It was
that was the reunion of the second lineup in 2004.
Yeah,
and Eddie poorly was way drunk off his ass most of the time.
But Michael Anthony, ladies and gentlemen, has always been,
a Mack truck on the bass.
Yeah. The famous face and Wild, and the famous, obviously, Jack Daniels bass, and that would be my first pick. Brown, your pick.
My first pick would be one that passed away in 2015 unexpectedly, but the man, he was. I mentioned this man's unique to make his bass guitar sound like a rhythm guitar with the way he plays. He uses a lot of bar chords, half bar chords on his when he plays, and he would turn the distortion effect on either his pedals or his on his amplifier.
I think I know who you're talking about, but if not, I'm gonna take who I think you're talking about. Go ahead.
But, I mean, I think we all know what I'm speaking of here. Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead and Hawkwind. Let's not forget he was in this prog rock band called Hawkwind years earlier.
You know what I'm saying? He like strummed it in a way,
Yep, absolutely. And the funny, and I think
almost like a rhythm, like a rhythm bass type thing,
Yeah, exactly. It was a rhythm guitar and bass all in one, and that was done basically to it was to fill in that one spot while the guitar player does the solos, so that way you could also hear some of the guitar and the bass in the background instead of just the bass when you go see him live. But it's a power trio or a quartet like Motley Crue at times, and Black Sabbath and Van Halen. So Lemmy definitely does give. And by the way, he also definitely gave Rickenbacker the guitars a lot of sales because of his choice in using those. In fact, if I had the money, I would definitely give me one of those custom-made Rickenbacker 6-string guitar, that same model there. All right, YR,
Okay,
you're ready.
no, me.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my bad.
Okay, next one is possibly a guy you've heard of before. He's not only known for his bass guitar work, but his work on other instruments, virtually all of them. And he had his own group. A guy by the name of Paul McCartney.
He was second on my list. And the cool thing about him was that he was, according to Gene Simmons, he was one of the first bass players to play with a pick, which back then a bass player wasn't supposed to do. They were supposed to use their fingers. But keep in mind, when the original bass player died of a brain hemorrhage or something there, Stu, what's his name there?
Sutcliffe, yeah.
Yeah. Paul McCartney decided to fill in. Because Paul McCartney was just a basic regular guitar player with the Silver Beatles at that time.
But he not only plays the bass, he plays keyboards. He's been known to drum, guitar. He's in some of the Beatles songs, he played all the instruments.
Yeah, some of them on the White Album, for example, and his first solo record, which was simply called McCartney in 1970. Came out the same time Let It Be came out as well there. In fact, the story was that the other two Beatles, George and John, sent Ringo to talk to Paul about delaying his solo record after the release of Let It Be. Paul took offense, told Ringo get out, and that was it. The end of the Beatles right then was right there.
Yeah. But we could sit here all day long and name great Paul songs,
That's true there. Which is another time for another episode later on, I guess.
Yeah, we could think about doing that, yeah.
All right.
Now again, I'm not really going for technical aspect, but we can't forget to mention, I would say, one of the most, I don't know, dark bass players. The band Kiss, Gene
Simmons, yeah. Who was influenced by Paul McCartney. He said when he saw that, Paul McCartney played the way he played, he figured, I got to get me one of those things that he has.
Right.
And he's still with it today. Let's not forget the Axe bass guitar that he occasionally plays. That's still the first time I saw that. First time I saw that was on the I Like It Loud, Love It Loud. What's it called? Loud. I want to hear it loud. I love it. I love it loud.
I want to hear it loud. Right between my eyes.
Classic song. Yeah, one of his best.
Another guy that could sing.
Yep, absolutely. And probably one of the most well-known sex addicts in rock and roll.
Yeah, and there's also the little tongue bit.
Yeah, absolutely there. And a business entrepreneur, and also an actor. Let's not forget, he had movie roles in Wanted Dead or Alive in the 80s, yeah. The movie Runaway with Tom Selleck. He made a couple appearances on Miami Vice. And this movie with Rigger Halter called Wanted Dead or Alive. And a lot of other things as well there. He was also a producer. He produced the band Black and Blue, which one of their guitar players would later take over Ace Frehley's position, Tommy Thayer, and a band from Japan called Easy-O. He produced that record as well there. All right.
You're up, Earl.
All right. Mine is one that was taken from us from a bus accident in 1986. And it would have been cool if these two were still alive. They would have done a bass duet together. Lemmy would play the rhythm, and this cat would do the solo to it. Cliff Burton. Without a doubt, one of the badasses on the bass guitar. I mean, like, the story was that the members of Metallica arrive in the San Francisco area from L.A. to check out the scene there. And they see this guy with his hair waving back and forth, doing the solo, and they figure out it's just another guitar player. And James Lacoste said, dude, that's a bass. And next thing you know, boom. They asked him to join the group, but Cliff says, hey, if you want me to join, move down here. The scene is a lot better there. Mm-hmm. And it was a decision they do not regret because L.A. was not giving them the full due of respect.
Let me ask you, like, out of the three Metallica bass players, people would say Cliff is the number one?
I guess so, because Cliff was unique. Cliff was mostly unique with the style there. I mean, he had a style like no other. He basically dressed it like he was from the 1970s, and he played a bass like a monstrous Eddie Van Halen. It's kind of, I mean, the solo he did on Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth on the Kill 'Em All album still remains unique to this day. Now, Jason Newsted would it's hard. Jason Newsted was a damn good. He was a damn good bass player.
Bro.
Yeah, he was.
Black Album, come on.
Yeah, and it's sad, but then again, Jason Newsted was his own. He had his own style that he brought to the band. He wasn't trying to be like Cliff. He wasn't trying to be like the current bass player that they have now, Robert Trujillo. I think that's how his last name is pronounced.
Trujillo. Yeah.
Yes.
Trujillo.
I mean, with Trujillo, they was able to realize they were able to finally do this track Orion, and of course Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth in Cliff's honor. Whereas Jason used to pick, so it's kind of difficult for him to do that. I guess, if I'm correct. But and by the way, for the record, I think that Metallica should finally pay homage to Jason by remixing "And Justice for All" because, as everybody knows, Jason's bass was kind of like mixed out in the final mix.
Did you ever see Metallica live?
No, I never had a chance to, and unfortunately, there. I would like to go check it out there, definitely for sure. There was a couple times I wanted to go, but always something always set me back at the last minute. I would love to check it out when the Black Album was out there and they were still wearing all black before they cut their hair and started dressing more alternative. But he still wore black on stage, but it was kind of funny seeing these guys with short hair cranking out Creeping Death when they used to have long hair and cranking out Creeping Death. All right.
Okay, I'm going to kick another one out there that's versatile and a singer and one of the biggest two-people groups around.
Yeah.
Geddy Lee.
From Rush.
Yeah.
Also a good keyboard player as well there.
Absolutely.
He is.
He
did
sings,
all the keyboards.
Of course, he sang everything.
Yeah. Yes. And I think in 2000 he released a solo record of his own called My Favorite Headache. I remember the title of it. And I guess him and Alex Lifeson may do a project together. I remember Keith reading that for us a couple weeks back. But I don't know if it would be nice, to have those two playing together again. But it should be at least something original, not just relying on all the Rush or catalog like some of these other rockers do. Like Nick Mason of Pink Floyd, he has Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets, which they play Pink Floyd music prior to Dark Side of the Moon. Which is good because, a lot of people need to discover that Pink Floyd instead of the one after Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
It's my turn?
Yep.
All right, we're going to get into the 70s. Or, get a little bit classic here.
All right.
From the band Poco and the Eagles. Timothy B. Schmidt.
Oh, interesting.
Nice one
on that too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well,
Another one that can sing.
Yeah, I like bass players that can sing.
Yep.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. And credit to him, he wrote and sang on one of the biggest ballads the Eagles had ever had. I Can't Tell You Why.
Yeah. Great song.
Still play. Remember that Pillow Talk radio show I mentioned many episodes ago that ran in out of that station in Dearborn, Michigan?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the most frequent played songs on that program, along with stuff by Gloria Estefan, along with a couple others like Ambrosia's "How Much I Feel." I think he played a couple other. Go ahead.
Who's the bass player he replaced? Do you remember? And what album?
Well, I think he came along on the long run. I think he joined on that album.
I thought he was in Hotel California.
No, I think it was Randy Meisner. No, it was Randy Meisner.
Okay.
Sure, bro?
Yeah, sure. I remember seeing the live video and reading the album credits at the library one time. All right.
You're up, Doc.
So it's my turn. Okay. This guy is a part of a English UK band that's kind of like described as guitar-driven industrial rock. This is kind of like before. Hello, just a minute. Yeah. Oh, I thought my name was being called, but it wasn't there. Now, the band Godflesh released their debut album in 1988. It was a guitar player, Justin K. Broadwick, on the vocals and guitar. It was a drum machine, and this guy, G.C. Green. Now it was industrial rock, and I like this guy because he would detune his bass and play it through various pedals to sound like a grinding sound. And what it was called at that time was grindcore rock. Napalm Death was doing it as well. The first Scorn album did that as well. And grindcore is basically where you detune your instruments and play it through pedals to make a grinding sound.
Right.
Yes. Look up the albums by Napalm Death like Scum, Inside the Torn Apart, and a couple others there. Anything with Mick Harris on the drums in the early 80s there. But G.C. Green definitely deserves a lot of mention. In fact, look on the albums Selfless, Pure, Slave State, and you'll see what I'm talking about. How he plays his bass guitar. I've always been intrigued by those kind of sounds. All right.
Okay. Another well-known guy from a group you may have heard of. Bill Wyman.
From the Rolling Stones. Who's still retired, I guess.
Yeah. But he wasn't a flashy guy. He was just consistent and consistently strong and laid down exactly what they needed.
Exactly there. And there was a lot of talk that he was going to possibly leave the Stones in the early 80s there because of some situations there. So I guess in an interview, Keith Richards just detailed that the only time we see Bill is that when he comes to the rehearsals, records the albums, and goes tours with us. Other than that, they don't see Bill no more. So he now feels like a Stone once again. He finally retired, and I guess in the early 90s, making the Stones a four-piece. Watts, Wood, Richards, and Jagger there. So I guess the only time he came out of retirement was to fill in for the Faces there in the reunion show with Rod Stewart in the benefit of their former bass player, Ronnie Lane, who was stricken with multiple sclerosis. So definitely Bill Wyman deserves a lot of credit, and also give him a lot of credit for being the first old fogies to marry a young girl. Mandy Smith, who was an 18-year-old model at that time. And what's even funny is that Mandy's mother was dating Bill's son. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it's my turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'm pretty sure this is on Brown's list, but I don't make lists when we do list shows. I go off my head and my memory, and I don't want to waste too much time if we all have a lot of the same people. But this person bass sound is much a part of the sound of the band, which is Iron Maiden. I'm talking about Steve Harris.
Oh yeah, he was one of the main founding members of the group, and also the chief songwriter of that band as well.
The sound,
you could hear the bass of the strings slapping on the fretboard when you listen at times there.
And they call that like a specific. What do they call that? They when you do on the guitar or bass, like it's.
I'm not too sure what it's called. I don't have a bass guitar, so I wouldn't know. So
on the regular guitar too, it's just that typical general track. The what is it called?
Transylvania.
Oh,
no, that's where Dracula's from.
What is the word called when like horses and shit like run?
When horses shit.
When horses when there's like a cow.
I did. When a cow shits.
It's a specific word.
Well, when horses gallop.
Galloping.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Galloping. Yeah.
I for a minute I thought you said
since when
did Iron Maiden release a song called Horse Shit? Or like
no,
okay,
I mean
there.
like a lot of the cadence is like in Iron Maiden stuff. Yeah, and
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, definitely.
And of course,
Harris.
What they did that a lot. What they did that a lot of songs like the Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, The Trooper, Where Eagles Dare.
And of course, the little bit you just did.
Yep.
Was William Tell Overture.
Absolutely. Everybody knows that like the back of their hand there. And when they think about that, they always think of one thing: the Lone Ranger. Hi-ho, super. Okay.
Your turn.
All right. Mine is a bass player who's not necessarily a rock and roll bass player, but he's a unique ass bass player, nonetheless. His work, you got to listen to an album he did called Invisible Design. My dear girlfriend Nancy recommended to me. She bought it. She played it for me when I came over to visit her after work one night. And his work on this record was phenomenal. It was basically him on the bass doing all these melodies, all these licks. The man has worked with John Lydon of Public Image Limited. He's worked with a lot of dub stars like what's his name, Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare. He's done a lot of ambient stuff as well. He has multiple musical projects.
Dunbar.
Praxis.
Dunbar. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. I'm talking about Mr. Bill Laswell. He was a damn good bass player. He has lots of tracks, lots of projects there. My personal favorite from him was a 29-minute little ambient piece called Black Dangers, which was basically him using a lasting effect on his bass there. It's definitely worth checking out there. You gotta look it on either YouTube or on some Amazon or whichever there, and you see what I'm talking about. And for the record, he also had a project with one of the ex-members of Napalm Death, Mick Harris, the drummer I mentioned there. Him, saxophonist John Zorn, and Laswell has released a couple albums like Execution Ground, something I recommend, Guts of a Virgin. Definitely worth checking out as well there. Definitely got to check this group out. This kind of like a jazz that you could mosh to. Thrashing jazz. So there you go.
Okay. My next one is another one from a well-known group.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Squire.
From Yes. Rest in peace, dude.
Yeah, he could also sing. He did a little of the backup vocals, but
Yeah, but harmonize it with John Anderson.
yeah.
I know.
But the guy was a phenomenal bass player.
Yeah, I guess he had a 3-necked bass guitar one time that he played there as well.
Yeah.
And he also, his choice of guitars that he would use would be, of course, the Rickenbacker 400, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep, as always there.
He was one of the guys that pretty much stayed with Yes throughout until he died.
Yeah, I know. One of the biggest mainstays there.
Yeah.
All right, there. Okay, YR is your turn, dude.
I'm just gonna throw a gimme out there because I need a full list.
Okay.
But I've seen him a couple times live. I actually have a pick I bought of his on eBay.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if he uses a pick to bass or not, but there's a couple, like the song on Skinny Bop and others that bass line is true, and that's the great Bobby Dahl, Poison.
A lot of people
you see how I get my answers. It may not be, it's people you heard of mostly, but like I like to throw out the band, maybe throw out a couple songs people heard of, and then the name of the person. You like how I present my pick, guys? You see that?
Yes,
I mean,
I'll
give a little brief, but I did see him a couple times live, and obviously was in the band all those years, and still goes to this day. Obviously a lot of drama in that band, Poison, but they're a lot older now. They look a lot older, except for Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Brett still looks
always
there. Like he still looks like. I mean, he has the 6-pack, the fucking blonde hair, the bandana. So Brett doesn't really change, but
other than the cowboy hat he wears as well there.
Yeah, the cowboy hat, But Bobby Dahl does look older if you look at some of his current picks.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, but still slings the bass, and you know what I'm saying.
All right. So definitely a credit to him as well,
and some good backing vocals too there with Rick Rocket.
Absolutely there. All right, so it's my turn now. We mentioned this guy earlier in the discussion of Cliff Burton, and this man needs to be mentioned because he did contribute a lot to Metallica prior to the current one they got in. Jason Newsted. He was a big fan. He was the fan who got to be with the band because he admitted in a couple of interviews that he was saddened by Cliff Burton's death when he heard about it. He was still in the band Flotsam and Jetsam that time there. When he auditioned to the band there to take over Cliff's spot there, they figured, let's get this guy in. Oh, he's like a fan. But how they fucking hazed him when he first joined is unbelievable. Because they hazed the living hell out of him. And that's another topic they bring up when they discuss his time with the band, Other than his bass being turned down in the final mix of Band Justice. And he deserves a lot of credit because he was able to fill in. Basically, he was the fan, as I mentioned, the fan who joined the main band. So he deserves a lot of credit now. And unfortunately, I guess what the issue was is that we mentioned this before on a couple months back. He had to have multiple surgeries on his neck and shoulders because of all the intense thrash headbanging and thrashing he did on those early years with Metallica. Did a lot of stuff into his neck. And I guess that's one of the reasons why he hasn't really done any shows as of late. I know he had his project, Echo Brain, and then just Newsted and a couple others. He did a stint with Ozzy Osbourne, which is kind of funny, is because the current Robert Trujillo, he was sort of playing bass with Ozzy when they decided to switch bass players. What do you think about it?
And listen, one of my favorite Metallica albums Robert Trujillo was on Death Magnetic.
Yeah,
which was one of my favorite newer Metallica albums, like the newer Metallica.
Yeah.
And,
by the way, did you ever see the video for All Nightmare Long?
Negative.
No, you got to check it out. It is one tripped ass video. Believe me. It is a trip out video. I mean, I saw it with my ex-girlfriend back when it first came out. I was like, holy shit, that's unbelievable, man. Huh. All right there.
All right, my next guy is yet another one with a famous group. People, they're well known for their what they call their 7 core albums, and lots of others before and after. And he was the mainstay of the group and sang.
Yep.
And that would be John Lodge.
From the Moody Blues. You know, got to give him credit as well there. Because a lot of people don't talk about his bass playing technique there.
And he actually wrote some of their material.
Absolutely. And they also did a duet album with Justin Hayward called Blue Jays back in the 70s there. Yep. All right. Okay.
Now, when you think of the bass, you know, it's a major sound, not only in rock and all that, but it is a major and important sound in reggae. And with that being said, basically the bass player for Bob Marley for all those years, Aston, they call him Family Man Barrett. Was always the bass player, and you know, when even the early days when they had Peter Tosh and all of that, they
Eddie Grant
with the early Wailers, you know, that was always the bass player, and that groove and the reggae sound, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is important, bass player. So to give up some
respect.
Thank you.
There you go. And my new choice in bass player, of course, the man who took after Jason Newsted's place, Robert Trujillo. You know, who also played with the Suicidal Tendencies and their side project, Infectious Grooves. Yeah. And as I mentioned, prior to joining Metallica, was with Ozzy Osbourne throughout the later part of the 1990s. Then he decided to audition to be in Metallica, and he got the job. And like I said, he was able to really channel Cliff Burton's bass playing uniqueness during their live shows, especially on the track Orion. I mean, he definitely did his homage to Cliff Burton with such respect. I mean, I think there's footage of him doing anesthesia, pulling teeth, while Cliff's father, Ray, was watching at the side. And that was at the Orion Festival in Belle Isle, Detroit, Michigan that year.
I mean, this Robert Trujillo guy, he seems really like nice and cool too, because like there's stuff on YouTube like Metallica rehearsing in rooms backstage or getting ready for, you know, just
the tuning room is what they call it.
Yeah, like tuning room, and he seems pretty laid back, and you know,
everyone's
pretty cool, you know. Because some of these artists are assholes, you know what I'm saying?
I know. It's like kind of they joke around a lot of times there. And what's kind of funny is that the tuning room is so damn small when you look at it there. It's like all these big other bands like Aerosmith and all these other bands, they just have all these big places there. Metallica has a small little shed where they just had the drums, their equipment, the guitars, they're just jammed away. And he called that the tuning room. All right, so definitely that's my pick there. Okay, Ark, you are next.
Okay. Another one from I guess I'm doing the big groups today.
You are.
That was also their main singer, but not their only singer. And that would be Jack Bruce.
Cream. Yeah, he was the main singer of that group there, if I understand there.
Yep. Clapton would sing once in a while, but Bruce did the bulk of the work.
Yeah, well, they did a vocal duet on what's it called? Sunshine of Your Love.
And
White Room there. Yeah, that's right. There, I forgot.
But you listen to some of the bass that he played, especially their live stuff. Man was good.
All right. Definitely credit to him. Okay. Wire is up next.
Well, we need to, and we need to kind of talk about this guy for, give him a little bit of respect and give him a minute or two. Had a great solo career, but very famous as well from the band The Police. I'm talking about Sting, not the wrestler, the artist Sting.
The singer Sting, yes. In fact, when I first heard about the wrestler Sting, I figured, isn't the singer Sting going to raise some hell about this? But I guess not. In fact, they were even photographed together at one point there.
Well, I think they actually came out about the same time.
I don't know. I don't.
I only heard about. Interesting to look up because Sting's been around since the 90s.
Well, actually, the 80s.
Yeah.
And 80s was the first time I heard of it. Well, the Police started in 1979.
Yeah, pretty early.
Yeah, around. It was.
Was Sting like a thing? Like when the Police were a thing? Was it just the Police, or was he more popular than other people in the group, or did people look at the Police as just the Police and not Sting until
I guess they looked at the Police as the Police, but the Sting at the time had stood out a couple of times out of his movie roles. He started in the original Dune from 1983. He did this one movie which I forgot. He starred in the movie called The Bride, about the Bride of Frankenstein. He also had a couple parts in the movie version of Quadrophenia.
That would be interesting to look up Borden Well, Steve Borden.
Steve Borden. That's the wrestler Sting's real name.
I know he started out way early in, I believe, Georgia Championship Wrestling with a partner as part of
Jim Hellwig.
Called the Freedom Fighters.
And later, and one I first remember him was the Blade Runners with the man who would later become the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, and
Jim Hellwig.
It's interesting because their names were Sting and Rock when they did that.
Oh.
And Hellwig would later become the Ultimate Warrior. Dingo Warrior when he was in WCCW.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. And credit to Scott Hall for coming up with the Crow Sting gimmick there during the big NWO run in WCW there, because that's still yeah, absolutely, that was a badass gimmick there. I dug that, the trench coat, the him growing out his hair there.
I actually liked that better than his older look.
Absolutely, because in the past he had he looked like Bart Simpson with the face paint on his face there.
He was like he was about to surf
the couch. I know, yeah. And the Sting's still running wild. In AEW at this moment there.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see when he started, because I think they started about the same time.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell. They got to look the wrestler Sting up, definitely for sure there. But the first time I remember hearing about him was back in, I guess, in the mid '80s when he was involved with the NWA there with Ric Flair, the Anderson Brothers, Four Horsemen, Road Warriors.
Yeah, the Georgia Championship Wrestling and.
Absolutely.
Well, if you look on the screen, I met Sting about 3 years ago.
All right.
When he was still in WWE.
Oh, nice. That brief run there.
It might have been. It might have been after the big injury was set. I don't know, because he was obviously doing autograph signings for Christ's sakes, but signed my bat and everything's very nice.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Oh, from what I hear,
I see it there.
Fabulous, nice guy.
He is.
Everybody says that.
and he's a born-again Christian just as well there, along with Shawn Michaels.
But you never really hear anybody say anything bad about Sting.
Nope.
But like
he's an
being
icon.
being face to face with him like that, which
I see it,
is kind of hard to do with celebrities. Anyway, so close. I mean, this was obviously before COVID and all that, but it really gave me vibes. I mean, I don't know if he was. I mean, I know this Crow movie was an inspiration, but it really gave me vibes of Kiss, the band.
Yeah.
With the paint, you know. I mean, look, he really wasn't that much taller than me. I'm just as tall as Sting. Look at that.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much. I'm looking at it right now, Mayor. It's on YRSN, by the way, folks.
He's probably as tall as you, bro.
I'm thinking so. Yeah, I was gonna say a thing.
Seriously, like he's bred in that breed of wrestlers from back then that are actually built and big bodied. You know.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think the best Sting image was the Crow version. Definitely, without a doubt. We all agree on that one because that was badass. The silent anti-hero, this vigilante, set out to destroy the NWO, who were at that time the bad guys. And okay, I am up there as well. Okay. And credit to this musician Sting because he did come up with some real good solo stuff there. My personal favorite from him was Fields of Gold.
Oh, yeah.
When I hear that song, I keep reminded of this spot in Port Huron back in Michigan there, where I was just, late at night, I would drive around, I would look at this, stop once in a while, go to those park spots near the water, look across the water there, and I see this oil rig. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a big factory with multiple lights all over it. Kind of looked like one of the cities in Blade Runner, the first Blade Runner movie there. And it's just, that song would definitely come to mind when I think about that for some reason. Okay, back to me. I've admired the bass guitar unique technique of this guy. He's a local Detroit native who now lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He was the singer and frontman and bass player for this band, Seduce, for multi-years. They released two major albums. Their debut in 1985 on their own label, Psychomania Records, and Too Much Ain't Enough on IRS Records in 1988. They were featured in the movie The Decline of Western Civilization, Part 2, The Metal Years.
I wanted to do this guy.
Yeah. Mark Andrews from
Oh,
Seduce.
no, it's someone different. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, Detroit's own Mark Andrews. And he had a unique way of playing his bass just as well there. He played it with the precision Fender bass there a lot of times. He had a couple other bass guitars he used to play there, with the one that was like a Flying V, a custom-made Flying V that was on the first album cover there. But this man definitely deserves a lot of mention there. We're buddies on Facebook as well there. And he's living a good life, playing in other bands, working his job in Nashville, Tennessee. All right. So there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Once again, I'm hitting a fairly famous group that you guys may have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Their guitarist, drummer, and singer, everybody knows. But what about John Paul Jones?
Of Led Zeppelin.
Mm.
It's kind of funny. The man has done sound. He's done a lot of work. He did a soundtrack for a movie called Scream for Help in 1986, which featured Jimmy Page. He's released a solo record called The Thunder Thief in 2001. He opened it for King Crimson when they played the Royal Oak Music Theater that same year. First time I ever saw Crimson live, by the way. Excellent show there. And during his opening set, he had another bass player with him doing the Chapman stick and war guitar, Nick Beggs of Kajagoogoo. He was part of Jonesy's backup band there. And if I would have known that was Nick Beggs, I would have say hi to him because he was a damn good bass player on the with Kaja Google as well, especially on Crazy People's Right to Speak.
And he was also a record producer.
Absolutely there. He also did a thing with Damalea Gallus, performance artist, called, I guess it's called The Sporting Life, I guess it was. Which is kind of unique because we had the former bass player of Led Zeppelin along with this dark performance artist who had the words, "We are all HIV" tattooed on their knuckles. I guess it referred to her brother who passed away from AIDS a couple of years before she had that done, if I'm correct.
YR.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guy who just came back to the band recently and is the only original member. The band Quiet Riot, great Rudy Sarzo.
Yeah, that's true there. The first time we heard of him was involved with Ozzy Osbourne on the second solo tour there, and he had a unique style of bass playing as well. He would go around all over the place with thrashing his hair around there as he played. Now we cannot forget Chuck Wright, who was also the bass player prior to Rudy Sarzo getting involved originally there.
So is that your guy?
Well, that's YR's guy, I guess.
You had two guys and didn't know it, YR.
Yeah.
No, it is Rudy Sarzo would be my pick.
Yeah, definitely. He does mention they deserve a lot of credit there. I think he has a custom bass guitar strings, I guess, available as well there. He also remember seeing him when he did a stint with Blue Oyster Cult at the Stars and Stripes Festival in 2007 there. All right. And also, let's not forget Whitesnake as well.
Ooh, I got a good pick coming up. I got a couple good picks coming up unless y'all snatch them for me.
All right. Okay.
Well, Earl's turn to try.
Okay, there. This one was basically, he's a so-and-so bass player. And he's also, he's mostly a lyricist. And he wrote a lot of in-depth lyrics for this particular band. He's also a bass player as well. He contributed a lot to some of the early Pink Floyd songs there. Roger Waters, who was considered often nowadays the man who put the pink into the Floyd.
Yeah, because he was an average bass player at best, but he contributed in many other ways.
Yeah.
Now, would they have a big contract or something with like Floyd Rose or something? Like, what's the Floyd mean? What does that mean? The name?
I was going to ask myself. Who came out? Where the Floyd Rose company came from?
No, I'm talking about Pink Floyd. The name Pink Floyd. Did they take that from Floyd Rose or?
No. They got that from two Chicago-based bluesmen, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. It just took their two first names and combined it together.
So we ever figured out which one's Pink?
Yeah, well, that's something like that, yeah. But actually, that line was basically with the perspective of the record company, the executive welcoming the band to sign them. Thinking that Pink Floyd was the guy.
Which one's Pink?
Yeah, exactly there. Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to get into the less well-known guys. Next one is Tim Bogert. He used to play with Vanilla Fudge, and he also played Beck, Bogert, Appice. He played with a couple other groups too, but he was a good bass player.
Oh yeah, so he definitely deserves good mention there. All right,
that's my old one from the old days.
All right.
I think the rest of them might be fairly obscure. I don't know. YR.
All right.
This is a big one. Now, some can argue, but I'm pretty sure this guy started the band. And we're talking about on the band Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx. And the band London, but obviously more known for Motley Crue. Wasn't he the creator of the band?
London was he helped create Motley Crue, but London was basically formed by one of the ex-singers of Mott the Hoople.
Mm.
And also, let's not forget best-selling author. Back in the early 2000s, he wrote a book titled The Heroin Diaries, detailing his battles with heroin addiction in the 80s there. And he also has a band of his own called 6 a.m. that's still functioning pretty well there. And he released a lot of albums like, Modern Vintage, the album titled The Heroin Diaries, the soundtrack to the book, as well as the one called Prayers for the Dying and its sister album Prayers for the Fallen. No, Prayers for the Damned. No, Prayers for the Blessed. Oh, God damn it, I keep getting the two titles mixed up. One album's entitled Prayers for the Blessed, and the other album is called Prayers for the Damned. I think that's how it is. And let's also not forget he had his radio show called Sixth Sense that used to be on one of the local stations in Detroit back in the day, the early 2000s. All right.
You're up, Doc.
Okay. Well, you're going to definitely agree on me on this guy here. He's one of this, probably next to the only original members of this band there. Just him and Rob Halford are the two main members.
On. I was supposed to get that one.
Well, we can do it together there. I know, but right. I should. Okay. Ian Hill from Judas Priest.
Yes.
Great bass player. In fact, there are only two songs which the bass does the intro to the song would have to be The Rage from British Steel and Love Bites from Defenders of the Faith. But he is a damn good bass player there.
Okay, next one I got. I can't pronounce his last name. But his first name is well, no, that's not his first name. Whatever that was.
Oh, I know who that is. Keith has joined the hall.
Yes, I have.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Keith, what was that noise, dude?
I'm opening a box right now.
Oh, of what?
Monster Energy drink.
Oh, okay.
I got shit. 24 pack.
Well, you're number 4 on the list for your bass player opinions, Keith. So be ready.
Okay.
All right.
My guy is also a singer, occasionally, but he's a member of the group Nightwish, Marco. Or was a member of the group.
Well, I think he's still involved with them.
Nope.
He left?
Yeah, this year, I believe.
Oh, really? I got to look that up there.
But like I said, I can't pronounce his last name because it's Swedish. But he's known as Marco, basically.
All right,
he pretty much does the male vocals for Nightwish.
Yeah, when it goes alongside either Tarja, Floor, or Annette there. He co-vocals on their song Bye Bye Beautiful.
Dr. Earl.
Yeah.
Who do I go after?
YR.
Okay, got it.
All right.
He goes after Earl.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait a minute, you came in late. You're gonna take out the YR.
Or you want to do our? Because
I got at least 5 more.
All right. Oh yeah, we got a bunch more.
I got about 4 more here on here.
Okay, I guess it's YR's turn.
All right.
I don't think we mentioned him, and you guys don't really talk much about this group, but they have a huge following. Well, more of a cult following, I guess. But the band the Grateful Dead.
Bob Weir. Yeah, that's a good one.
Phil Lesh.
Phil Lesh.
Okay, there. That's how it's listening. I see there.
Is it my turn?
No.
It is.
Oh,
no, it's my turn. What am I fucking talking about, dude?
How many bets that Keith mentioned somebody we already did?
I don't know. It's like, Keith, what the heck you doing, man? All this
I'm
trouble
opening
just
a box.
You turned it up, man. Dr. Earl, what do you got?
Okay, I got this guy. This guy was one time considered the Eddie Van Halen, the bass guitar there. He played with David Lee Roth. He played with Mr. Big. And he's now part of a project called the Winery Dogs, featuring the former Poison guitarist, Richie Stotson, I think it's called.
Mute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, Keith, like, what the fuck, bro? Okay. All right, there you go. So this man deserves a lot of good mention. He has his own custom bass guitar that's out there right now, Mr. Billy Sheenan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. And like I said, he was...
okay. I got Flea.
From the Chili Peppers. Yeah, he has a...
Oh, I thought you said you had fleas. Okay.
Oh.
Actually, that's the only bass player I know from heart.
So I'm surprised you're not going to mention bass players from Cedar or Nickelback or something there.
Oh yeah, I could look up. I could look on Google for that.
Right. But,
okay.
All right.
My next one is one that nobody here has heard of, but you should check her out. And I say her. It's our first female bassist, and she is phenomenal. If you watch her, you'll be like, holy crap. And that is a girl by the name of Ty Wilkenfeld.
Oh.
She played with Jeff Beck.
Oh,
and
wow.
she could hold her own with Jeff Beck. That'll tell you how good she was. Look up a couple of the concerts where Jeff Beck's playing that she's playing the bass on, and you will be, you'll be flabbergasted.
Okay, there.
I mean, you'll listen to her and you'll see what she does and how she does it.
All right.
And you go,
I see.
Oh my gosh, why has no one ever heard of her?
I know.
She's good. The name is
All right.
Ty Wilkenfeld.
Okay, there. I definitely will check that there. All right, there. Fire is your turn, dude.
This person was in two groups, very big, maybe more. Briefly in Dawkins, but also in the group Rat. Great Juan Croucier.
Juan Croucier, yes, definitely there. And he's still with Rat. I think him and
Yes.
Stephen Pearcy were held it down when he got rid of DeMartini, their other drummer, and I guess Carlos Cavazo decided to quit as well there because he couldn't play with anybody else other than DeMartini.
All right.
Whoa,
All right.
I have Freddie Hera
Who?
from Everclear.
Oh, okay.
Freddie Hera from Everclear.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's bringing in the deep tracks.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Good.
Who's up now?
I think it's me. No, I think it's. Is it me?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, there. All right. This guy passed away a couple years ago. He was a part of one of the big prog rock bands in the 70s there. He was also part of another prog rock band for the first two albums, King Crimson and later Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Greg Lake, who was also a guitar player and a singer and songwriter as well there. Look up his work on Take a Pebble, C'est la Vie, my favorite from him. Look up his work on the album Brain Salad Surgery, Tarkus. Also Works, Volume 1 and 2 there. And of course, the last record he did with him called Black Moon.
Yeah.
Greg Lake, who was taken from us, I guess was in 2000. What year was it? 2018, I think it was.
I believe so. It's either 18 or 19. It was not that long ago.
All right, there. A couple years back there. Greg Lake is my pick, definitely.
I was going to take him, but then he plays a lot of stuff, and it's pretty hard to call him a bassist. But
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
Okay, my next two.
Mostly.
I thought you were. I'm going to do two at once here. I thought you were going to name one of them when you said King Crimson, because my two now are John Wetton, Tony Levin.
All right, yeah, that's right. Tony Levin deserves a lot of credit. He worked with members of Pink Floyd. He worked with Peter Gabriel, and he was one of the first guys to introduce us to the Chapman stick.
Yeah, he. If you ever seen any videos of him, he plays, for lack of a better word, different types of bass.
Exactly, and he's currently with the current King Crimson lineup at this moment right now. They're doing a tour titled Music Is Your Friend Tour of 2022. It's with it's a 7-man.
Really?
unit.
Are you going?
I would like to go. I've got to find out how tickets are and where it's going to be at. If it's going to be within good reach. So, but I would love to
there.
Yeah, I know I can drive. Which, by the way, tomorrow morning. Going to take my car in, to see what the fuck is wrong with it. We're suspecting that it's probably spark plug issues.
Why? What's the issue? What's happening?
Well, the engine light keeps coming back on, and plus, when it comes to a stoplight or when I'm driving, that boom, 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 boom. But
it might be like your motor mount.
Oh yeah, we don't know yet.
Motor mount. Well, if they say that, it's a really expensive thing. Like it's the mount for your motors, and that's what you hear is like the shaking. Is it like a shaking when you stop?
Well, not necessarily. It still runs, but it's just when it's everything's. It's like when you stop or drive. It sounds normal, but all of a sudden, once in a while, you get this little, almost like a boom boom with the engine there. So we're thinking possibly. My nephew brought over this meter to check out. They said it's possibly the spark plug. Possibly one of the spark plugs is no good, and I guess one of the coils that connects to it is possibly no good as well. We're suspecting that. So tomorrow morning we're going to get that taken care of there at a nearby mechanic. That was recommended by my nephew. Shout out to you. All right, there.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
YR.
No. Okay.
That would be YR.
From the band Dokken, Jeff Pilson. Jeff Pilson,
who was also with Foreigner and played with Dio for a couple of years. Look up Strange Highways. Look up that album there.
Tyrone Morris.
And what does
from
he play?
Seether.
Okay. What about the bass player from Slipknot, Paul Gray, who's no longer with us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't mention him yet.
Oh, okay. I'm not a big Slipknot fan. I like him a little bit.
All right, there.
Okay.
All right, me. There. All right, I'll let you take over first.
Okay, next one I'm going to mention. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned. With a band from England by the name of Deep Purple.
Roger Glover.
Well, Glenn Hughes is who I was thinking of.
Oh man! Oh yeah,
Glenn Hughes. Damn it!
Because he's a damn good singer. It's just as well there.
Yep.
Look up the album Seventh Star by Tony Iommi's Black Sabbath from '86. He did some damn good singing on that album. He also sings for a band called Black Country Communion, and he also was invited to do the Heaven and Hell project at a music festival with Iommi, Butler, and Appice.
Oh, wow. That would have been...
It's interesting. I still personally would have chosen the Melody from the band Lilac as my personal choice, or Rob Halford. All right. And I guess it's my turn now. Yep. And mine, we all know he was the one of the pounding bass guitars for Britain's most first heavy metal band, Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Oh, yeah. And not only is he known for the intro to for that bass solo he did on the first album prior to NIB, but he's also done this. It's kind of like a brief instrumental between Sign of the Southern Cross and the Mob Rules title track on that album. It's forgot it's EVI50, I think it's called.
Oh, E5150.
Yes. Eve 5150. No,
I think it's E5150.
No, I think so. No, I know. I got to look it up there. Let me look it up there. Let me look there. Mob Rules album there, but the effects on that album, he plays on that piece there. It was like it sounded like it was coming from underwater. You have to listen to it to see what I'm talking about there. E51, you're right. E5150.
As you can tell, that's one of my favorite little bits.
Yeah, absolutely there. Because like I said, that's something to look there for sure. All right there. All right.
YR's turn.
I think this will be
YR's turn.
I think this will be the hello.
Hello?
I think this will be the last on my pick.
All right.
But I did see this group live, and I did see my seats were like fourth row in the front on the left side of the bass player. Great Dusty Hill, ZZ Top.
Oh, man. Yeah. Rest in peace, Dusty. You're definitely missed by all the top fans out there.
Okay, I'm going to go with Dean Berdinani from Chevelle.
All right.
Dean Berdinani from Chevelle.
All right, there you go. And my final choice for the evening would be Nick Bolin, Nicholas J. Bolin. He was one of the founding members. He was involved with the band Napalm Death for a while there. And he was also basically the other half of the project Scorn, alongside their former drummer Mick Harris. You look on their first album, Vi Solus, and you see what I'm talking about in terms of bass player. You remember the grindcore bass that I mentioned earlier? He definitely displays a lot that on that album there on various tracks, like Hit, Suck It and See, Walls of My Heart, Lick Forever Dog, Spasm, and you see what I'm talking about. That's the grindcore bass that I was referring to on that album there. Now, other scored albums, he disposed of that. He just stuck to guitar playing and bass player, which he did on the second record, Colossus. On the third album, Evanescence, that's the name of the album there. This came out before the band came out as well there. He just basically did bass playing to let a guy named James Plotkin do the guitar on that record there. But Nick Bolin of Scorn definitely deserves a nod here. And it's sad that he later got booted out of Scorn, believe it or not, by Mick Harris. And the story is that Bolin had a massive drinking problem. The two were doing some sort of a DJ gig at a London club there. And I guess Bolin either A, threw a beer bottle at the club's manager, or B, threatened the club's manager with a broken beer bottle. Either way, Harris, just had to let him go because, he was getting out of control. And Harris has been doing his thing as Scorn ever since that, releasing multiple albums. Now, of course, all of them are more dub-ish, ambient, instrumental, because Bolin was a singer as well in those early Scorn records there. But definitely the ones that he did with Scorn, Evanescence, Colossus, and Ve Solus are definitely worth a knock. Definitely worth listening to. And also look up the EP Deliverance just as well there.
Okay. I only have two left.
All right.
Do you want to do them both or just do one and let anybody else go?
Okay, we could do the second one there. Second object.
Okay, the first one I've got here is a guy by the name of Barry Oakley.
From
Come
the Allman
on.
Brothers?
Yes.
Hmm. I know you mentioned him a lot of times, so I figured that I knew who you were talking about there.
Yeah, one of my favorite little bits is, the album Live at Fillmore East is great.
All right, yeah. All right.
But when they do their 23-minute of whipping post, Greg Allman introduces, here's one that Barry starts her off, and then it's that doodle 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 doodle.
All right.
But
there you go.
He was a great bass player that was taken too soon.
All right. Sadly, there. All right. Why are you ready?
Did you ever look up the thing I was
telling you?
Oh,
I'm done with my list.
Oh, okay. Oh, Keith, any more? My bad. You ever look up?
I got one.
All right. Well, let Art finish his statement first.
Okay.
Because I think he was asking me a question there.
Have you ever looked up to see if what I told you about Barry Oakley was true, that Dwayne Allman died in a motorcycle accident and Barry Oakley died almost exactly 1 year later in nearly the same spot?
Wow. That's definitely one of those confidential shows that there's definitely worth looking up there. But I would believe it is true, because knowing the strange history of some of these southern rock bands and all the shit that goes on, I definitely believe that would be true there. Definitely.
Keith had another one.
All right, go ahead, Keith.
Okay, let me see. It's Johnny Christ from Avenged Sevenfold.
I see. Good band there, by the way.
Thank you.
Definitely learned from Judas Priest and Iron Maiden with terms of guitar harmonies.
I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me.
All right.
Okay.
And you know what? I saw this guy on one more I need to mention there. Bootsy Collins of Bootsy's Rubber Band. He's more of a funk bass player, but he had this cool ass bass that was shaped like a star. Definitely look it up there on the Google Images.
Okay, my last one you probably heard of.
On the Grooves in the Heart, yeah. All right.
He was a member of a group that had Leslie West as the front man, and that was Felix Pappalardi.
Man, I remember there was talked about him a lot of times. I remember he was murdered by his wife, I remember, right?
Yeah, he was murdered by his wife.
Oh, wow. Wow, man.
She apparently caught him with someone else. I don't know the exact
so she went
story,
but
she did him in. But that was a great bass player too.
All right. So where's she now?
My guess is prison. I don't know.
I don't know.
Another interesting story. And there are a lot of other great bass players out that I don't know their names.
Yeah. All right.
Butterfly, for instance.
Yeah.
What would be the potential next show?
Well, my thought was doing keyboard players. And then we'll get to the meat of the thing, lead guitarists and vocalists.
Male singers. Yeah, male vocal singers. We got to touch up on that there. That's for sure.
But I figured, those are long shows, both of those. So I figured if we did keyboard players, we'd get
a short show.
And then we can delve into the other two subjects. Unless there's something else I'm missing.
All right. Well, not that I know of there.
Maybe we can do, like, for one this coming year, like best live albums. Did we already do that?
I think we did.
We can.
We should do that. Definitely, yeah.
All
right.
But I'm thinking the next one we do should be keyboard players.
All right.
There aren't that many of them.
Yeah, but
we know the big ones.
Yeah, and ones that deserve to be mentioned as well there.
Right.
So for that, we should, obviously we'll have our picks, but let's try to talk about each one more if it's going to be, because there's only so much keyboard, piano players, so we can actually dive more into the artists there, which will be nice too.
Right.
Definitely. Talk about the albums that they have released it as well there or have been involved in.
Yeah. Because the main ones that we mentioned, everybody's going to know about, but we need to talk about them.
Absolutely.
And there are some obscure ones out there.
Oh, yeah. I got a few of my own when you think about it there.
But that was kind of what I was thinking there. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention real quick about bass.
Yeah.
What are a couple of songs that you can think of that had incredibly memorable bass in them?
Let's see. Stay Clean by Motorhead. Orion by Metallica. Let's see.
A lot of Iron Maiden songs, but their feature.
What about the bass player from the Beatles?
We named him. You mean
Sir
Paul McCartney?
Yeah, I didn't even know who it was. Okay.
Oh, you should know Paul McCartney, dude.
Two songs I can think of.
I know the Beatles.
Yeah. Two songs that I can think of that are lesser known, but the bass lines in them are just absolutely kick-ass. First one is the Eagles' Outlaw Man off of Desperado. That last verse, he rides that bass like crazy. It is unbelievable.
And we're talking Randy Meisner, am I correct?
Yeah, but that bass line in that song, especially the ending part, is absolutely incredible. I mean, he's walking all over the place with that bass. I mean, it's unreal. Right. And another one is by a group that you guys have probably never heard of, the Blues Magoos. They did a song. They did a song called They did a song called "I Can Move a Mountain," which the guy uses a fuzz bass, and the last part of it, he's walking all over the place with that bass, and it's unreal.
Which by the fuzz bass on a couple of songs on the Pictures at the Exhibition album. Look up The Gnome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, check the whole album out to be a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's only 2 songs, and one of them's only 6 minutes long. Yeah, and one of them's only 6 minutes long.
Yeah, and that's the encore.
Yeah, Nut Rocker, which, by the way, it's a cover song.
Yeah, obviously we could tell by the opening chords.
Well, it's a cover of a cover of a cover, because there's a guy by the name of, God, what's his name?
I'm not too sure.
I want to say B Rocker or something like that, but it was a guy that did the song first in the '60s, and then Emerson did it. Basically, it was Emerson.
All right.
And it was both. Well, they were taken from Tchaikovsky, so. But that song's great. Right. Pictures and Exhibition is also a cover.
Absolutely.
And that's about 30 minutes long. I think it's 30 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it extended about, I think, 40 minutes worth, including the encore that we mentioned.
Yep. But that is definitely worth a listen.
All right. All right, so for the time being, we'll be back on Monday, of course, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, as always there.
Unless you we'll be taking.
We'll be. You'll have what? Nope. Not this. They only needed me that one Monday because, as I mentioned, all the deliveries coming in. Everything's set up now, so everything is back to normal as it is. Right. Okay. I guess this concludes our tonight's episode of our show. You're right there. All right.
Keith,
once again,
Keith, did you score any goals tonight, Keith?
Nah, I wasn't in a running mood tonight.
What'd you do?
Stood around and watched.
I was like, I was walking. I wasn't running.
Right.
I was walking on the field, not running.
Oh.
Did they get mad at you for not running? Not hustling?
No. Nah.
All right.
You were waiting for the ball to come to you, right?
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Come on. Where's the waiting? Hello. I'm waiting for the ball. Whoa, I got the ball.
Nah, no, it wasn't like that. It was like I was following the ball. I just wasn't running. I was walking.
That way you could watch the ball go by.
All right. Okay.
No, but like if I was in front of the ball, I ran. But if like I was behind the ball, I was walking. Like I was kicking it toward the goal to where I shoot the goal that I shoot, but then they got it. So then I had to turn the other way. I started walking.
All right, again. Now I got the list that YR sent in the chat there from Nikki Nines.
Oh yeah, was there anybody new on there?
Well, there was one I know we heard of, Jack Pastorius. I think that's how his last name is pronounced. There was a documentary on him that was produced by Robert from Metallica there, a Victor Wooten, and a Juan Alterette. Hope I pronounced his name right there correctly. And I guess that was the only three that's on the list there. And I'm going to put some in the chat here, and you guys got to check out. I don't think why I ever saw this, but I posted on my Twitter here. And so, Keith, what do you have to make about Will Smith and what he did to Chris Rock on Sunday night there?
I think like Will Smith should have spoke to him in private, or
I agree.
He could have turned to.
I said the same thing.